I was talking to my mother a couple of days back, and she's brought up in a city, Chandigarh, which is somewhat like a metropolitan city with modern amenities and everything. But she loves village culture, the songs, and everything about the villages. In fact, she had a house in Chandigarh in the city that she sold and settled in a place which has villages in close proximity. So we always wondered why a girl brought up in the hustle bustle of a city would love village culture so much. And then she shared a very interesting story. When she was 4 or 5 years old, my grandparents were constantly moving from one place to another because my grandfather was given job at odd places, which were in the villages, close to villages, I would say. So there was one village where they went and they got a house there. And just a couple of blocks away was another house where an old lady lived. She was perhaps in her um, late 80s or 90s. And she had two daughters who were helping her with the household stuff. So my mother would just roam around and enter their house. And they would very affectionately greet her, make her sit, play with her, and she would have a lovely time there. So she spent close to 1 year in that region, and she would often visit that place. And the memory of that love, what she received there, remained with her for the rest of her life. So she started enjoying the traditional village folk songs. She likes to associate, mix up with villagers. And she herself told me that perhaps it is that 1 year that I spent there, I received so much love that memory has been so much embedded in my consciousness. This is the power of love. She didn't know that family, that lady, her daughters. They were just neighbors. And even my grandparents didn't associate with them much. But she just remembers how she was cared for there, the time that she spent there. And even 60 years later, that memory is still strong and it is there. even myself. When we were that age, my father was also posted in remote areas where there wasn't much other than nature. And we lived in huge houses which were full of trees, plants, grass. And that's why I always wanted to be in such a place, close to nature. So during that time when I had to work in a corporate job in New Delhi, I was quite miserable for about 20 years when I had to be there. And every time I would just run and come back here to this place for relief. Every weekend, I would just pick my car, drive, and come back here. Because nature reminded me of that love. Here is the way when we lose our compass. Because what we have here and now is the right way. So every time when we lose our sense of direction in life, always choose the path of love, and it will guide you home. Home is here. We are never disconnected from our essence. The thinking that we are caught up and we have lost our way is the dream, is the illusion. So we try to find ways, means, methods, practices to come back home. And the masters just tell us, be here, that's it. Ramana Maharishi would say, drop and be. Buddha would talk about the compassionate heart, which is the being. They just brought us closer to our essence, that unicity. And this is the place where we need to be most compassionate towards ourselves, because It is the tendency of the mind to judge, because we trained our minds to become performance oriented. So it judges. Why can't I be so calm and so serene like the masters, like other people? Why am I caught up in thinking? All that why, all that how is a movement away from here and now. To the mind, it feels like a failure. It feels as if I'm not strong enough or that I'm missing something. That is thinking that creates stress, worry, anxiety. But you have the strength, the power to be the spaciousness, to hold that content. And the moment you become the spaciousness, you simply become the detached observer of whatever is arising. You do not fight it, but you hold it in your embrace, gently, lovingly. You recognize it. Oh, fear, I know you. I've seen you. Oh, worry, I know. You hold it. In fact, I'm not very sure, but I think it was probably Ramdas who said that when the fear shows up, invite it for a cup of tea. Ah, you're there. So you're just doing your job. You were a good childhood friend, but now you're just here. You're welcome, but you don't need to do anything. It's all okay. Then you become the spaciousness, the beingness. You hold it gently, lovingly. In Buddhism, they call it mindfulness. It is not personal, it is impersonal, because that spaciousness has no fixed dimensions. It is vast. Therefore, it has the capacity to hold everything and anything. It does not matter when that happens, for how long that happens, because there is no judgment here. There is no performance here. Nisargadatta Maharaj said, faster is not better. What we do is we try to fight. We don't want to feel. It can be very subtle. But we know something is wrong. We get to know that something is wrong here. Because there is an awareness which is the substratum and the pure knowing that can see, know, feel. It knows that something has been transformed. So the way back home is that memory of love, remembrance. I am here and I am home. The moment this realization shows up, the struggle ends, the fight ends. And the moment the fight ends, there is peace and calm. Sometimes we misunderstand this concept and think that it's an antidote to reactivity. That's not what I'm talking about here. Reactivity in the moment is not in anybody's control. The awareness of what is happening in the linear time, horizontal time, that's what matters, because that determines the quality of our lives. In fact, with the crack in the structure of the personality, as I explain the concept of awakening, you become more raw. Sometimes you just explode. And there can be anger, emotion. It's there in full intensity. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the self-judgment that happens in horizontal time. Why did I? I should not have. Why did they? They should not have. All that is the thinking mind. Thinking mind that creates the poison of hate and resentment, which further fuels separation. That means one gets more immersed in the dream, thinking that the dream is real. Then world seems like a scary place. People appear horrible. Relationships appear meaningless. Purpose, job, life, everything appears to have no significance at all. Because the mind that is fragmented has colored the filters. At some point, if we keep going down that route, we find ourselves completely trapped. So trapped that even daily basic functioning is not possible. That is where we go to professionals, to therapists, to healers, to bring awareness, to bring to light the patterns that are causing the separation. At some point, we have to learn to face the resistance. When that happens, how that happens, it's not in our control. But if we look, simply look, from what I've seen, the divinity gives you the courage to face what is. The change happens in that, in the impersonal witnessing. That is a deep change. That is complete knowledge. That is awakening from the dream of separation. Nobody awakens to nothingness. All right, we can take a couple of questions. You can raise your hand and I will unmute you. Yes, Carlene.
Hi, Jagjot. Hi. Um, the last part you were talking about was too relatable for me. It's the position where I find myself in um, since a couple of years, actually. And sorry if there are background noises. And it's almost like it's getting worse. That I notice that it's not easy for me to, for example, have that compassion, while in the past I would have that very easy. I'm very tired. I feel that despondency, that lack of, and it's, I just want to wake up. It's almost like it's getting worse. So I don't know if I'm in like a full-blown depression or if I'm in the dark night of the soul or a transition phase. But what you talked about, it was like, oh wow, this is such a higher power moment that he's talking about that, because it was exactly what I wanted to talk to you about. And I know, well, it's not your job to have the full questions, but it is still a mystery to me how to get out of this. Although that I'm a volunteer in a Tibetan Buddhist center, and I also talked to it with the Lama. It's like, oh, I know all that, but I feel so, I'm tired. I want to get out. I want to find the exit, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yes,
I think you get exactly what I'm talking about.
yeah, yeah. First of all, yes, this can be very challenging, very, very challenging. It is not easy. And if we look carefully, you see the moment of suffering can be an opportunity to hold it. Every moment of suffering can be an opportunity to be the spaciousness to hold it. But it is not up to us whether the spaciousness appears or not. It is not at our beck and call. We cannot just invoke the awareness. In fact, it's the other way around. The awareness invokes, it grips, but it happens sometimes. The moment of suffering when we are holding the painful emotions is not easy. Definitely not easy, because there are symptoms in the body. There is this rapid heartbeat. There is this something in the stomach which is like twisting and turning and just rising up in the heart region. And the first impulse is, get me out of here. That is the first impulse. That is precisely the point where we have to hold it. As we see that source from where these things are arising, there is an immediate disconnection with the content. And I tell you that there is a possibility to hold these things very lovingly. There is a possibility. Don't believe a word I'm saying. It has to be your experience. But I'm telling you, there is a possibility to hold even what you think is the worst, where the body is completely shaking. You may be saying a lot of things. The organism may be reacting, shaking, sweating, whatever. Still, there is so much strength in the vastness, in the spaciousness. It can hold all of that. And usually, there are moments when we do experience that. It is not a problem in that moment. The problem is later on when the mind comes up and says, no, I don't want this again. It's too much. I'm tired, I'm exhausted. It comes up, and nothing wrong with that. There is no judgment here. There is nothing absolutely wrong. Mind is doing its job, it's protecting you because it has learned that shock is bad, so shock has to be avoided. But masters say that no, don't run, don't avoid. Let it in. Let it in. And I say that it's okay to talk, it's okay to take help. At some point, you will have to face it. And the moment that strength comes, that courage comes, which is not a matter of practice or a time, it is just a matter of understanding that you are the spaciousness. You will see that all of this can be held very lovingly, that your base is love. And that love can just take you right back home, right back to that place where everything comes from. So I would say, whatever you're feeling, I acknowledge that. Nothing wrong with that. Yes, it can be tiring. Sometimes even I feel exhausted. It can be tiring for me as well. And sometimes the mind can just go spinning and all these things that we are experiencing in the body. But I would just say that there is always this possibility to go back home. When that recognition happens, it will not happen through your trying, it will just happen. So when that happens, you know that you're home and nothing needs to be done other than to simply be the spaciousness to hold everything. And on our last guided meditation on Wednesday, we were imagining a bird's nest where the bird keeps its babies and the eggs, and how lovingly, how nurturing that environment is, where the birds are held while the nourishment is provided. So, yes, at this point, it may feel exhausting. One may feel like there is no escape out of this, but the nourishment is being provided through the awareness. So, what your soul needs is not what your mind wants.
So weird to be so long on this path and to cognitively know, and not even only cognitively, understand a lot of the teachings. And that longing is there. It's like, oh, why am I not? Yeah.
Yeah.
And what it scares me that lately I'm becoming more and more angry towards the world, other people. So that spinning is on top of it, like the anger and the intolerance. And I'm like, wow, what's happening? This is so against everything that I'm longing for. Yeah, and it was also Thich Nhat Hanh who said these things like you gotta go back home, but I've been trying to do that for years, and it doesn't work. But probably I'm still efforting too much. I'm efforting too much. Yeah,
You
going
know,
at it from the ego. Mm.
yeah, you know, you will know, and you don't need anybody's help to do that. You know it how to do it. In fact, you don't even have to do anything. It's that simple. The uh, Even Ramana Maharshi said the same thing, you know. When the thought knocks at your door, you just say, "Hey, I know you. Sorry, I'm not opening the door." No, which is not suppression. You're not suppressing it because you're quite aware what the thought is. You're just saying that no, you're not entertaining it. And if it is too forceful, too powerful, let it in. Let it in, let it play. And when it's exhausted, and it does exhaust, because compared to the energy of being, which is the highest vibration, if we talk in terms of energy, the energy of restlessness or anxiety or any form of stress cannot even match that. Cannot match that. All that needs to happen is just that recognition. Ah, I know this. I know this. It will pass. It will go. It is so amazing that it just brings this awareness to the forefront. And you see things like images on the on the television set on the screen, and you can hold it in that space. But yes, sometimes it takes time because we put effort. Somewhere we are putting effort. And if we can see that and recognize that that is happening and the effort drops, so does the original feeling drops because it cannot continue without our putting resistance. All right.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, David.
Thank you, Jagjot. Always good to see you, and
Good to see
thank you for bringing forward your mother, that energy. Because Carlene, wow, wow, you are awake, my mother. Oh my God. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever she just transmitted to me was exactly what I needed. It was divine, and totally can resonate. My question, yeah, I'm going through it. My anger. I can see it. That yes, like you said, it's what the mind wants, but it's not what my soul needs. But
Mm.
like people are crowding me as I'm trying to talk. I want to hate on them. I want to, yeah, why aren't they giving me space? Trying to return home into the love that you speak of. Um, but yeah, I am being, I want to say triggered, but it's all like you said, resistance to what is, and I'm trying to meet it. So I'll just get current because maybe this will be helpful. So, um, my kid is trans, really struggling with that, and transitioning, doing medical procedures, trying to meet my resistance to what is there with love. It's been hard. When I can see that I'm stuck, and like you said, return back home, I get some peace. But like Carlene was saying, maybe this is the practice. I guess this is my question. I know awareness is there. It's always there. It will always be there. I get thrown off my game, trying to recognize what's happening, with loving kindness. And, I get it. It's a practice. It's hard. I'm just so overwhelmed lately. And maybe this is where I'm at spiritually. I'm dating someone who for all intents and purposes, I want to say is not kind to me. She's loving in the way that she is. My heart is opening in ways that I'm surprised, but it feels like there's a, I don't even know. My mind is not getting from her what I think it needs, but I don't know, maybe my soul is. But there's just an unkindness there. When I try to, I don't know, open to her, she closes down and vice versa. So I see the dance and I'm trying to, like you said, um, return home, to the love that I mean, I'm tasting it, I'm believing it, but I'm like Carlene. It's like, it's just overwhelming at this point, but I know I'm right there. I'm right there. I see the resistance. I can taste it. But it's so painful. And I'm trying to, again, move into it, allow it. But then I think to myself, my question is I think I'm creating my own suffering. Um, to the extent that like the choices I'm making, do I let my kid transition? My kid is transitioning. There's nothing I can do. I've done what I can do, done my work around it. I just see so much pain ahead for them and trying to let go, not resist, because this is happening. This person I'm dating, she is not who I would want her to be or the mind wants her to be. She is who she is, but I just feel so much suffering. And my question is like, I understand the first noble truth. I understand my clinging and my aversion. Intellectually, I get it. I'm just worried I am literally creating more suffering for myself, as if what I could lessen my suffering by what choosing other. I mean, I'm gonna suffer, right? I mean, I mean that is ultimately, and so I guess, yeah. I mean, I see it's a practice, developing greater recognition and awareness around what's happening as it's happening. And there is freedom in that. I can taste it, but I also see myself like creating Maya for myself. I mean, as if I could do that. I mean, it's already here. There's nothing I mean, it's like, good Lord.
Yeah.
I don't know. So any, I mean, other than practice, other than, again, like you said, I guess trust in the homecoming and the love that's here. Uh, release. But what am I releasing into? It's just deeper recognition.
Yeah.
Like Carlene, there's a part of me that's like, isn't it supposed to get easier? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
maybe not. I don't know. I've said this to you 1,000 times. I'm waiting for the bliss, the peace, you know, yeah, I don't know.
Probably that.
What am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong?
Well, you're waiting for it. It's taking time. That's why it's taking time.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, the thing is, life will always be in a disarray. This is what I've found. Whether it's your life or my life or anybody else's life, the variables are never set to the perfection that we want them. There is always things happening with our partners, with children, with families. The only thing is that nothing can be done there. It is all here. I'll share one example with you. So my personal pet peeve was when I would be walking on the streets of New Delhi, and if you've ever been to India, you'll know how people just honk. You know, that's our style of saying hi to. So everybody would be like beep 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 beep, and oh, just wait a second. Yeah. So I would often get this. Whenever somebody would honk from behind, I'm telling you very honestly, I felt like actually murdering that person. Felt like, and I actually one time, this was many years back, and one time I actually hired a um, hired a psychiatrist, and he took 100 rupees fee which is like 1 point something dollars a consultation, So, and I asked him, I said, "Sir, this has happened. I was walking on the road and this person came from behind and I went into a rage and I just wanted to murder that person." And the guy paused for a moment and then he just looked at me and said, I also experienced the same stuff. Are you taking anything to help yourself? It's like, can you help me? So we were confused as to who was the therapist or the psychiatrist and who was the. And then in the end, he said that, okay, I can give you a medicine, but I don't think it's much required. This is very common. This is very okay. And of course, I didn't take the medication, but I had an interesting thought at that moment. It's like, okay, this is happening. This is happening to a lot of people. Now, one day I said, what if I just allow myself not to act physically, but to simply go completely open in my mind about this situation? So I remember again somebody blowing that same uh, horn, that honking from behind. And in my mind, I just murdered the guy, and brutally, completely with all brutality, with all the cuss words, everything. And there was a parallel awareness in that which was saying, hey, it's okay. You having these thoughts is also okay. It's it's just happening. It's just happening. See it as happening. There was this awareness. Ever since, I never had a problem with honking. Ever since. The only thing is that, yes, even today, when somebody does that, it does invoke a sharp reaction like, oh, but no narrative spins. Nothing spins at all. I observe myself, I observe my heartbeat, I observe my breathing. It's all messed up, and I bring myself here back again. So the only thing was that recognition to happen where I'm putting my resistance. So if you have reached that place where you have seen where you are putting your resistance, that's half the battle won. Eventually, at some point, you will recognize the resistance and it'll just your mere witnessing it will just drop it. And then after that, there will be no story. Why did I feel this way or that way? You know, so that cuts off this entire thinking minds process. So I would say that this is actually a great thing that you can see the resistance because most people can't see the resistance. Then again, coming to the second part, to the relationship part, where this sort of shutting down thing happens. I have some experience with that, so I can tell you. So I can tell you, yeah, I've done it all too. So, so I can tell you is that at some point, again, I come inwards and look at this me as to what that me wants in the relationship. And for me to come to terms with it, I had to radically accept that this is how this person is. So if I want harmony, or if I want this to work, I have to just accept this person as they are. Now they may leave, which is fine too. And some did in my past, which is fine too. But the idea of waiting for things to change when they change, now they're not going to change. It's not even good to make them change. They change when they are destined to change, but it may not happen on our timeline. But what we can do is like treat ourselves with a lot of compassion when that happens, because the moment that kind of dynamic happens, the first thing is the me hits on itself. I am rejected, I
Mm.
feel abandoned. Those wounds get triggered. I feel there's nobody for me in this world. And again, that is also the resistance. So this can become one's personal sadhana, one's practice to just
Yeah.
walk resistance. It is going to be painful. It is very painful. This is not a comfortable process by any means.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm seeing is those stories. I'm a trained psychoanalyst. I mean, abandonment, rejection, I see them as stories. And I, and I'm like trying to drop them, but they're like got me like clothing. They're like wearing me.
Yeah,
And I see it as, again, all mind stuff,
yeah,
totally illusory.
yeah,
And yet the feeling in the body is just hurt and
yeah,
pain. And again, whatever stories I could create, oh, it's sadness because I'm not get, like you said, the mind is telling me I'm not getting something I need, which is all garbage.
yeah,
I've got everything I already need. It's just the me doesn't believe it. The me
yeah,
keeps holding on to those stories. And it's like, oh my God, I can see it.
yeah,
Like Carlene said, I mean, when is this me gonna just give it up? Just give it up.
yeah, yeah. That is also the me, which is waiting for me to give up, is
Yes.
also the me. So the one that is aware of all of this happening is actually detached from all the stories. The one that is aware, because how do we know? If me is the only entity, then how does it know what it's doing? There has to be something beyond in the vision to see. That's why I say, when I was talking earlier, I said that the awareness, which is the base, sees the movement, sees the ripple, but again, it all comes back to the same. So it is just when the me sees that there is no way out, there's nothing to be done, I cannot do a single thing to be out of this. At some point, the awareness, that is the moment when the me is weak, the awareness just grips. It just grips and
Okay.
the job
Thank
is
you.
done. Yeah. Okay. All right, David. Thank you.
That's helpful. Very helpful. Thank you, Jagjot.
All right. Yes. Martina.
This is so perfect.
Hi.
Oh, perfect. Starting with Carolina. Carolina, my heart just opened for her and knowing exactly how that feels, that stuck place. So I'm going to do a car report
Yeah.
and thank you for your email on that.
Yeah.
I had not known at the time that I talked about at our last meeting, I had the experience of it being broken and me being broken. But then when I learned that the car was blown up and there was no replacing it,
Oh dear. Okay. I'm so
and
sorry about that.
I have no money to
Oh,
replace it. Okay.
oh dear. Okay.
That is when everything they were talking about here
Mm.
came to rip the crack
Yeah.
like wide open. And I, like Harlena, was like, I've been on this spiritual path for 40 years.
Yeah.
I've gone through so many teachers. I've done so many things and they've been wonderful.
Yeah.
And then they weren't so wonderful. And here I am. I am absolutely ripped apart.
Yeah.
I am in my home by myself, no family to help.
Yeah.
I have no money and no car. And it's like, and like David, why me? I mean, what is this? Well, okay, so the me begins to die
Yeah.
because there's nowhere to go.
Yeah.
There's nothing to do. I am absolutely out of control.
Yeah.
There's no place to turn except
Yeah.
inward
Yeah.
to the place where I know that love is.
Exactly.
And by some grace, there's been enough of this unraveling in the me to surrender, 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 surrender. That's all there is surrender to what is.
Yeah. Yeah.
This particular one ripped the crack so far open that I could see the truth. And I understand the struggle that David and Carolina and I and you, I love your stories, they're great. It's like it's helpful when you aren't perfect. That's love. That's not making offense. Okay.
No, not at all.
So what I want to report is that we can struggle against it of what's in reality. And this going back and forth between the love and that's developing, the crack that's opening. Go back and forth, and it is frustrating. It is exhausting. But there has to be a final surrender of some kind to knowing the me. And that's what happened to me during this process was for the first time in my life, I had compassion for me.
Yeah.
I have easily compassion for others. I was trained that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
But not compassion for me. And there was no other place to go. But when I saw the me that tried so hard since I was a child, trying so hard to do the right thing, to care for people, to show people love. And here I was, no car, no money, no family. There wasn't any place to go but to have compassion for me. And there's something so liberating and so odd about what has been transpiring because of what this bad car thing is. Could I have gotten to this place of full surrender to the hell of me, without the car breaking? Could that have happened? And I have to say, when I look back on my brother's death, what I learned through that and the stripping away there could not have happened if I had not been in that experience. Nor what I'm experiencing now, this liberation of I can actually love myself. I mean, there's something here to actually love.
Yeah.
Could that have happened without the car breaking and being ripped open and the surrender? And I have to say, no, it had to happen.
Yeah.
And that feeds back into exactly what you're saying, is that being here with what is the way, and the way is inward to the love.
Yeah. Beautiful.
And I just feel so grateful for the Sangha, for you, to be able to actually speak it to someone, because I don't have anyone in my life that I can speak at this depth with. And it's so very important. And I thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes. Sometimes these experiences, the suffering has to happen, and it can be jolting. It can be mind-baffling that how something can just create so many sensations and bring us to that space. So that's why I think the Buddha said, no mud, no lotus. They're one unit. For the flowering to happen, one has to go into the mud, get into the mud.
Yes.
The acceptance of the mind-body organism the way it is peace. And sometimes we just try to resist change. That is what causes suffering. And all that happens is our witnessing the resistance drops. It drops it.
Mm.
And then there is spaciousness, and there is heart, and there's compassion. And compassion, it starts with the compassion for oneself. And you're so right that yes, we spend our lives caring for others, feeling compassion for others, feeling love for others, but we rarely tend to ourselves. Uh, I can share a lot of stories, but I think then it'll make the satsang too long. So let me save a couple of stories for the next
We
satsang.
could stay all day doing this.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we'll have another time when we'll do this. But
Yeah.
again,
Yes.
thank you, Martina, for sharing that
Yes.
beautiful story. Thank you
Yes.
so much. Yes. Ardink?
Yes,
Hi. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. You? How about you?
Oh, I'm good too. Tell me.
Oh, well, I mean, after I listened to others' questions in the talks, I guess I'm not the only one who is suffering. And and well, and after I heard Martina's like all those long journeys in spirituality, because mine started last year. And I wasn't into spirituality that much, actually. And like, I guess after all these great openings and beautiful spiritual experiences, and they're gone now.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think everybody's talking the same thing. This exhaustion is
Yeah.
coming and going and feeling alone.
Yeah.
Nobody's talking around. But now the mind came back, like months came back, and then it's actually blaming so-called me. I don't know, it blames who, because it's confusing. Sometimes the openings, I feel the openings and the compassion heart, and then I realize that there is nobody here,
Yeah.
just love. There's just love in this world, and everything is full of love.
Yeah.
I see that this spaciousness actually, we are just spacious being, and then, but for my story, it happened, and I wasn't that much ready.
Yeah.
So I think my mind is so freaked out right now, and like keeps telling that what I'm gonna do, what is the next, what's going to be the next, what should I do, what should I do not, and it's like seeking answers.
Yeah.
And then I guess it is expecting something magical. I don't know what it is. What I know is I ruminate, or it ruminates sometimes. Oh, didn't happen, didn't happen. It was going to happen something, but didn't happen. And then I try to understand. Okay, let's try to understand what it was going to happen.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find. But I guess it wants to relive these experiences, these beautiful experiences,
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
oneness, those like, I don't know, is this the dark night of soul? I don't know if the life is going like this after this. I mean, like in and out state. When I feel the compassion heart outside, sometimes by the sea, watching the people, I realize that the ordinary life is so beautiful. And
Yes.
there's nothing to add.
Exactly.
But after the day,
Hmm.
when I wake up and the mind wakes up, and then
Yeah, it brings up everything.
it brings up everything and starts, okay, what's going to happen next?
Yes, yes. So it's
It's
doing its job, it's just doing its job, its favorite job. And I would say that just imagine if instead of this mind, okay, there was a child in front of you, a child let's say, a 3 or 4 year old child, and just doing the exact same things, repeating the same stories, how would what would you do? You probably wouldn't do a single thing, but just let the child, express. And after a while, it'll be quiet. So, what is attending to the child is the spaciousness. That spaciousness is you, is the real you. And that's why you know this entire process in so much detail, because if you were the mind, you wouldn't know what the mind does. You know what the mind does is because you are the space. Yes, it is doing its work. It is trying to protect you. That's what it has done in the past. But you see, if you can be aware enough, when you get up in the morning, you can look at it and say, okay, I know you're here. I know this. I know this. It's happening. I'll let you play. No problem. Play it out. Feel everything. Feel everything. Let it feel completely, feel to the core. You will notice that eventually that feeling does not have the power to influence or to create any narrative or any stories. The stories, the narrative is the resistance. So what happens is then later on, we try to find, the mind tries to find the solution to that narration. It's like, I must not think, I must not think too much. But that's also a part of the narration. So mind is just adding on to one more task. Okay, now quiet yourself. There is that perfect state. No, there is no perfect state. There is no perfection. These sensations and emotions, they appear even to the people who have strong spiritual insights. They do appear. The only thing is, the mind, having known the nature of mind, what it does, how it operates, the stories, they don't create stories. The moment stories start, there is this observation which just cuts it down. And then automatically you find yourself in that spaciousness. That's what Martina called self-compassion. That's what, David called dropping of the resistance. So you are not to be, you don't have the burden to do anything other than to simply observe what is happening. And for me, one pointer was very helpful in particular from Nisargadatta Maharaj. And he said that whatever mind is painting right now is unreal. Whatever is painting, whatever story or anything that is coming up. How do you know? Because you feel a core sensation in your body. That's your cue. Because when you're calm, when you're absolutely quiet, you know that it's not the split mind. It's coming from presence. Whatever experiences are coming, they're coming from presence and not from the fearful mind or the split mind or the, whatever mind we want to call it. So nothing is to be done. There is no perfect state. Don't wait for anything magical, any enlightenment or anything to happen. You perfectly right now are the spaciousness. You already are that spaciousness. You just go back to the source, take it, come back home. That's it. That's all that needs to be done. Come back home.
Yes, I don't know. I think it is. I think it's a new way of life, and I think I sometimes feel that compassion for me, and then telling myself, okay, you gotta find out how you're gonna navigate your way. But then, yet again, the mind says that you are stuck, you are behind. Maybe I'm seeking too much answer and looking on YouTube and other kind of social media, and like they are presenting themselves perfect spiritual
Yeah.
content creators,
Yeah.
and then the mind actually is like comparing this entity with them. But yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know.
So you already know that to basically escape, the mind uses this tactic, to seek validation in that form that, okay, let me look at that particular forum, that particular, and we're just taking inputs from so many people we don't even know. We don't
That's true.
even know. Yeah, so the thing is we're not actually attending to ourselves. So this becomes a practice. Now do not judge yourself for doing that. That's okay. It's fine. We all go through that. When the pain is intense, we want to reach out to somebody, or someone, and to basically try to figure this out, how this needs to be done. So again, the part is self-compassion. Like, we do not have to berate ourselves for doing that. But the thing is that, yes, at some point we do have to attend to ourselves and attend to our own pain and just be there and sit with it and be there with it and see where is the source of that pain. That is the primary inquiry. That is the self-inquiry.
I think the fear of being alone in the future is
Yes,
not
yes, yes.
uncertainty and these and not knowing what's going to happen next, as if I did.
Yes.
I did. But after the realization, after the awakening, the mind, I guess, realizes that it's not in control.
Yeah, exactly.
And it won't be in control, and this is now freaking me out so much, like being broke or being unemployed and then being non-functional and etc etc etc. It's like
Yeah, yeah.
but I watched your YouTube interview with uh, uh, Maggie, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then you were telling, or you were saying that you were going to be the mess after awakening again. It was kind of relief that I think I'm not the only one who, excuse my language, fucked up the process.
No, of course. That's what I said. Life is still going to be a mess. I mean, for example, you know, um, well, this is a process. This is the flow of life. Financial problems, job, relationship, money, children, spouses. It's endless. It's endless. And most of us are just waiting for that right moment when these variables get fixed, and then I will be happy, which is a mistake. You can be happy. You are happy right now. If you're waiting for things to settle down, that once this happens, then I will be happy. You're putting a condition. You're not accepting the reality, which is here. So there is no other pointer or no other practice other than just bringing your attention here and seeing what the mind does. And I know that in your case that has been happening because you can very clearly see what your mind is doing, and you can see each and every trick that it has played and what it's doing. And I would say that even that is grace of God. And these are not my words. I mean, I heard this from a master. He said that even to know what the mind is doing is grace of God. So for most people, they're so caught up that they don't even know how trapped they are. And how the unconscious patterns are just running their lives left, right. So, yes, of course, when the unconscious starts coming to the conscious surface, it is not going to be pleasant. It is an unpleasant process. But that unpleasantness has to be seen in totality. It does not have, the moment we put resistance, we are splitting it, we are avoiding it, and that causes pain. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Okay, we'll take up one last question for today and then we'll conclude. Hi.
Hey,
Yes, Pradeep. Hi.
hey, This is my first time here.
Okay, welcome.
Yeah, so I think I've watched quite a bit of your videos and I've been on this path, I think probably since the last 10 plus years. And
See, yeah,
I think earlier this year, I had an understanding of the fact that all of this was happening and there was nobody doing any of these things here.
yeah,
And um, and I think that understanding was a huge revelation at that time.
yeah,
But I think as days progressed and as you go through your days, you still get sucked into your everyday tasks and your everyday work, and you
yeah,
get tangled up in all of these emotions.
yeah,
And but then you again, start remembering about the fact that all of this is happening, and then you end up in a position where you sort of keep going back and forth between these two, and then at one point the very knowing itself becomes very repetitive, like more of a thought generated reminder than an actual knowing sometimes. And so I then wonder, who is the one who is observing all of this? Is it just another metacognition within my own mind that is observing this? And is it that the same as awareness? And I think all of this has made me way too hyper vigilant about everything that's happening in my body and everywhere around. And I somehow have started to wish that I probably didn't see through all of this at all.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I wish I was just ignorant and I believed in all the everyday chases and I just went on with it. But now I feel it's too late and I can't unsee or unknow what I do. And then, but I feel like I want that state, but I know there is no me that can hold that state. And then I see that this keeps on happening. So I'm kind of stuck in this larger cycle. I feel there's this new cycle that I feel that I'm stuck in. So I'm not sure if there is even a way out, and it feels difficult.
yeah. So you see, the knowing that you're talking about, that you're trying to see as an object of your experience, it cannot be objectified. This is the reason why I say that intellect at some point just fails. And yes, we have a lot of verses from the scriptures, which will give you pointers that this is it, that I am that, and this is Aham Brahmasmi. There are many pointers, but the thing is, I have personally experienced it has to happen through the heart and not through the mind. So till mind is trying to see it as an object of your experience, it is creating that duality of the subject-object split. So it is trying to grab awareness as an object. You see, it is already reducing, and that is why you're running in circles.
Yeah.
You can never grasp it intellectually. It has to be an expansion in the heart. So in case of Ramana Maharishi, he said that it comes through silence only, which means when mind is completely given up, all resistances, then you know that there is no division. Then you know that pure awareness as awareness, not by making it an object of your experience. But till you are trying, till you're putting effort, you won't get it. You won't grasp, or let me put it another way, you won't feel the love that it is. You will always be shown something from mind's imagination. So it will keep running you into a loop. But sometimes that has to happen for the final surrender to happen too. So I would say, whatever is happening, let it happen. And if you can give up, give up. But I can tell you that you won't be able to give up. because you never started this entire process. Therefore, you will not be able to end this entire process. Your mind will have to go through the suffering to know your own nature. Sometimes that happens. That is why I said, that's why the Buddha said, no mud, no lotus. So the mud is the mind trying to grasp. It is trying to trace its source and make it into an object of its experience.
I hear everything you say and I know it's right. And then my mind wants to
Yes.
just grasp at that now, and now that becomes an object that I now chase. Because
Yeah.
how do I go from here to there? I mean, everything you explain seems nice, and so my mind wants that nice, and now I go after it, and then I don't find it, and then I'm in that loop again, struggling, and everything just feels more.
So surrender has to happen. Total surrender has to happen, which includes the surrender to actually give up the search.
I think giving up sometimes feels like I'm just giving up. So I feel like either I get it or I don't. It does feel a lot difficult.
Yeah, it is. Because that's the mind. Mind does not want to let go. The instruction to give up is not to the mind. The instruction to surrender is not to the mind. In fact, surrender is impersonal. It is a realization. So, Ramesh Balsekar, he put it in this way. He said, when the ego or the sense of separation, whatever you want to call it, gives up the sense of doership, it says, if I'm not the doer, then who is this me? And that is usually the last question, because after that question, there cannot be any answer. So, who am I is the last question. There is no answer. So, the seeking has to end. The search has to be given up. Not by the person. The person cannot give up the search. The mind cannot give up the search. The mind by nature is inquisitive. It makes something, awareness, as an object of its fascination. It tries to chase it, tries to attain it, and then it falls into the same loop. But in that chasing, trying to chase, trying to figure it out, at some point it just says that, okay, I just cannot get it. I just can't do a single thing to get it. That's when it happens. So you are not even to be burdened with it. If you can drop it now. But the thing is, as I said, since you didn't start the seeking, you won't even be able to end the seeking. Your mind will keep running till it is destined to run. And at some point, when it just knows that can't do anything, that is when that spaciousness will happen, that surrender will happen. So the surrender has to be complete. When I said complete, that means, can you give up the search?
Thank you.
Okay, Pradeep, thank you. All right. All right. So I think we went a little way over our time today, but but I think it was a good discussion. It was a good talk, and I thank you all for being here, for your presence. I wish you happiness, peace, and we'll meet again on Wednesday for meditation. Take care.